The games industry has always been a bit of a roller coaster. Since starting my career in games 17 years ago, I've seen many highs and many lows. We've had engines, platforms, and studios come and go. We survived the financial crisis of 2008. We've had that unexpected boom during COVID when so many people were stuck at home and they were buying tons of games. And then since COVID, we've been in this really rough patch for a few years now. Funding is tight, projects are being cancelled, and talented people are unfortunately being let go all across the world. But despite this, there are reasons to remain hopeful. After every crash, we always try and rebuild. And I firmly believe we are starting to move into that recovery phase for the game industry. Now, it's not going to be instant. The path back to a new normal, whatever that may be, is going to be messy. It's going to be unpredictable, but you can navigate it. You can future proof your career and come out stronger. Today, I've got 10 practical tips to help you do exactly that. These tips are practical, actionable, and really they're designed to help you stay resilient no matter what happens next. And for many of us, we've got no idea what's happening, right? Often in interviews, you're asked, where do you see yourself in 5 years? And right now, I don't think many of us could say where we see ourselves in 6 months. I know I certainly can't. So I hope this episode is helpful for you. Let's get on with those 10 tips. Hello, welcome back to the Golf Boss podcast. I am your host, Kat Burton. Now, whether you're a student, a mid-career dev, a studio lead, or a founder, I've got 10 tips here that should hopefully help you ride this wave of the games industry like turmoil a little bit more comfortably. Each tip is short and hopefully something you can start using today. So let's dive into it. Tip number one, I want you to focus on what you can control. When the industry feels uncertain, as it really does, and it has done for a few years now, it's so easy to feel powerless, to feel helpless. And future-proofing your career starts with reclaiming your power. There are things that you can influence: your skills, your relationships, your visibility. Invest time in learning and improving your craft. Invest time in building meaningful connections. And that could be with your peers, could be with a mentor, could be with your local game industry community. All those little steps, they compound over time and they will make you feel much more stable, much more grounded. Turbulence is all part of the creative cycle, and the games industry is going to rebuild, but it will look a lot different later. By focusing on what you can control, you're going to feel stronger, you're going to feel happier, and when it does rebuild, you're going to be in a really good place to take advantage of that. So that's tip number one: focus on what you can control. Tip number two, I want you to try and be ready. So it's kind of like prepare for the worst, but hope for the best. When things are uncertain, preparation's your best defense. Keep your CV up to date, your portfolio. Make sure your LinkedIn profile is up to date. Now, I know many of us aren't really fans of LinkedIn, but it seems to be where all the recruitment's happening these days. If you're looking for a job, if you need to promote an event or speak about something, LinkedIn's kind of where most people are going. Now, you don't have to be posting daily, but as you update your CV, try and do that semi-regularly every 3 to 6 months, because when you're going through work or like projects, you're going to remember what you've been working on. You're going to remember all those lovely little details. And that's the perfect time to update your CV, your portfolio, your LinkedIn with that information. If you don't do that for a year, 2 years, heck, 3 years, maybe if you've been in a job for 5 years, that's going to be really out of date, that CV. If the worst happens and you're made redundant or your studio gets shut down, you're going to struggle to remember everything in as much detail as you might want to, in sort of the stress around that. So by keeping it up to date, it's going to make things easier for you. So keep those profiles up to date. If you are in the UK, definitely recommend joining the UK Games Industry Slack. It is absolutely brilliant. I will pop a link in the show notes to where you can apply to join that. It's absolutely wonderful. There's thousands of people in there. It's a really, really supportive community. If you are elsewhere outside of the UK, look for local developer communities, your local support groups. Think of all this as your just-in-case plan. So make sure you've got everything prepared in terms of your portfolios and your bios, but also think about who would you contact if some big change happened tomorrow. If you found out you were at risk of redundancy, who would you reach out to? Where would you look for opportunities? What work examples would you share? And, it doesn't mean we're expecting the worst. We're really still hoping for the best. But just preparing for it means you can act quickly and confidently when maybe a challenge does come up. Or heck, even if you see a better opportunity and you think maybe you would be open to trying something new, just keeping things up to date just makes things a whole lot easier for you. So tip number 2, be ready. All right. Tip number 3, lift others up. In turbulent times, community matters more than most things. We keep each other afloat. We keep each other going. Please focus on that authentic connection. It's not always just about shouting into the void on TikTok or, other social media. Focus on building those friendships and building that community. Again, that could be online or it could be locally. And don't just promote yourself, but we're talking about lifting others up here. So it's helping other people online. That could be if someone's looking for a job, share it. If someone's hiring, also share that or comment on it, signal boost it. Promote someone else's work. If someone's sharing something they're working on, shine a spotlight on it. Help other people. If you've been in the industry for a longer time, maybe offer mentorship or offer advice. That's part of the reason I do this podcast, right? It's like, I don't have the time or the bandwidth to support lots of people individually. But if I can do this podcast and help a few people with each episode, then that makes it much more worth my time. If you're a student or a recent grad, maybe you don't have that connection yet. So start building that. Just comment on people's posts, connect with people online, find those online groups, find those Discords, and just start engaging in the community. People are really lovely and welcoming, and it can be really hard getting that first step into the industry. So just get out there and try and support others, and they'll slowly start to take notice. People often remember how you make them feel, not just what you know. In the games industry, I feel like that is especially true. It's not all about what you know, it's about who you know, and building that community, building those connections, building that trust with different people is what will help get you through when times are tough. So tip number 3, lift others up. All right, tip number 4 is about staying visible. Now, this kind of closely follows on from the previous tips, but it is its own thing because it's one of the things that I know many people really struggle with, especially if you are quieter, if you are introverted. If you're like myself and don't really enjoy social media, it can be really, really hard to stay visible on all those different platforms. Unfortunately, talent isn't enough when you're looking for a job. Sure, having a good CV will help you stand out, but it's surprising to me how many times, I'll review someone's application for a role and perhaps they don't have a LinkedIn or they don't have any social media, they don't have a portfolio. And it's very hard to get a gauge on whether someone might be a good fit if you can't see what their work is, if you've only got a CV to go off. So try and stay visible. Pick a social media platform. You don't have to be on all of them. Maybe it's Blue Sky. Maybe it is LinkedIn. Maybe it's just an art station. You don't have to be across all of them, but try and be active on them and just find the right fit for you. If you're a coder, maybe it's just GitHub. Maybe if you are an indie dev, you're just putting something on itch. Even as a student, releasing a game somewhere is a really good way to start, even if it's just a simple game jam project. When you're doing this, don't wait for perfection, because I feel like perfectionism is such a curse. Nothing will ever be perfect. There'll never be the right time to do something. So just update stuff semi-regularly, put up a draft version of something, put up an alpha build. Just get something out there, because consistency and showing your passion matters far more than being flawless, than being perfect. And by being visible, it reminds people that you exist and that you are active in the games industry, that you haven't left the industry, because so many people already have. And many opportunities come directly from your network or from people seeing you. I've had work come my way from posting on Blue Sky. That one surprised me. LinkedIn as well. That one surprised me less. But yeah, it's really interesting where work can come from just by putting out a little update every now and then. So tip number 4, stay visible. Okay, tip number 5 is a big one. Please protect your energy. As much as we have 10 tips, I feel like this one is the one I'm probably the most passionate about. When times are tough, it is really, really tempting to work harder. It almost is like, oh, how do I take back control? Like by doing more stuff. But working harder won't ship projects faster. Working harder won't prevent layoffs. Working harder won't prevent a studio from closing. Now, I've had 3 really bad burnouts. The last one took me 6 months or so to recover from. That was earlier this year, and I really struggled to get that energy back, and I never want to see anybody else go through burnout because it is the absolute worst. What I've learned from all of my burnouts and what I hope you can learn for yourselves, because again, we're all different, is that it's really important to schedule rest in general, but especially when times are tough. Now, not just games industry tough, life tough as well. If you are going through stuff that maybe you don't tell people at work that isn't seen, your energy level is going to be lower because your mental load is higher. Many of us have such high mental loads, whether we're trying to keep studios afloat, whether you're looking for a job, whether you're looking for freelance work, as I have been doing, whatever it is you are doing, make sure you take time to rest so that you don't burn out. Now, I'm sure many of us love playing games, but often it's really helpful to step away from your computer, get outside, touch grass, maybe just go for a little walk, even if it's just a walk to the shop, if you can, if you're able. Just find a way to disconnect a bit. If you don't feel like you can get out or you're not able to do that, something at home that makes you switch off. For me, I've got into painting minis. I'm really late to that party, but I'm really enjoying it because it's something away from the screen and it focuses my brain on something else. So try and find things that are not related to your work, that let you step away from your work environment. I would say the higher you get up in your career, the more important it is that you model healthy behavior for your teams, because your team will mirror what you do, especially when times are hard. So please, as leaders, take holidays, rest on the weekends, clock off in the evening. Do not install Slack on your phone. Do not have your work emails on your phone, because it makes it very hard for people to switch off. And when times are tough, honestly, sometimes stepping back is exactly what you need to move forward. Sometimes you just need that distance. So tip number 5, protect your energy. All right, we are halfway through my 10 tips. If one of these has resonated with you so far, please do let me know in the comments. Your experience can help others in the community too. If there are tips that you would give that I haven't, if I've missed something or like you've got a different take on it, please do pop those in the comments as well so that we can get everybody chatting and we can sort of share that advice around, because that's been really, really helpful in some of my other videos and episodes where people have added their own insights. All right, so let's get back to my tips. Tip number 6, build your confidence. Now, I've already done an episode on imposter syndrome. If you would like to hear my takes on that, please do go back and find that. But everybody feels like a fraud sometimes. Imposter syndrome is completely normal, and it's especially normal after layoffs, after career changes, when it feels like there's hundreds of people all applying for the same job. I get imposter syndrome too. And the way that I have learned to fight it and the way I've learned to build my confidence is to try and repeat the things that really, really scare me. If I'm finding something difficult, I'm going to go and try it. And it's really, really hard, right? Because everything in your body is going, don't do that because that's probably going to fail. And you might fail the first time, but keep trying because each time you will get better. And you can always ask your friends for honest feedback to help you improve as well. I used to be really, really scared of public speaking, which might be surprising. If you look on my website, you'll see there's a whole list of places that I've spoken at. But that's come over time. And I still used to get so nervous. I used to have that thing where like you feel like you're going to pass out, you can't breathe, like just super, super nervous getting up on stage. And it's taken me many years to get to a point where I realized, well, when you're on stage, people don't want you to fail. They want you to succeed. And no one knows your content of your talk better than you. So if you miss a point, if you mess up a little bit, no one's really going to know. And most people are too nice to say anything anyway. So really everybody in that room is championing you. They are wanting you to succeed. The same goes for this podcast. I was absolutely terrified to do this podcast, mostly because I wasn't sure if I wanted to be on camera or not. It was very nearly just an audio only podcast. Now it is audio on like Spotify, Apple and so on, but also on YouTube as video. And I'm so glad I did the video version because I feel like there are really good comments that happen on YouTube, and I really, really love like the feedback from people on there. And I feel like you can build that rapport because people can start to get to know you a bit better. And I'm so glad I took that leap of faith. And again, it's just from doing that thing that scared me, right? And I started out really nervous, and now what are we, like 16 or so episodes in? And I just feel really comfortable getting on camera. So practice the things that scare you and take small positive steps every day towards that bit of growth and building your confidence. If you're a leader, if you're a senior, remember, talk to your team about your own doubts. There is nothing worse than a leader that pretends they know everything. And I think we all have seen leaders that think they know better than everybody on the team. And frankly, they often don't. You know, many of us, if you're hiring a team, you're hiring the best person for each individual role. And so trust them because their combined experience vastly outweighs the experience of one leader. So if you don't know something as a leader, ask, say. It normalizes asking questions and helps others feel safe to do so. And remember, as you're practicing something, you might fail, you might struggle along the way, but even those little wins, those little learning lessons, they will compound over time and each little one will give you a boost. So tip number 6, build your confidence. All right. Tip number 7's mostly for leaders, but I think it will also help sort of the juniors and that understand a little bit about what to look for in a good leader. Because if you're looking for a job, as much as many of us can't be picky right now, having good leadership is something that will really help your career. And you're always welcome to ask questions about leadership when you are interviewing. So tip number 7, please lead with transparency and trust. I would much rather see people be honest and open with their teams than maybe having blind optimism or hiding things from them. I have seen people get laid off at 0 notice, no notice of redundancy. And to me, that's just utterly unethical. We are seeing many people in the games industry, currently at risk of redundancy. And they've been told, look, your job is at risk. We hope you won't need to be made redundant. But if things keep going the way they are, unfortunately, we might have to do something. And that's the ethical way to do it. As much as it's really, really hard when you're on the receiving side of that, that's the right way to go about it. Now, studio heads, you can't always share everything with every member of your team, but where possible, provide that transparency. Help people understand your roadmap, maybe your budget, maybe your funding. And as an employee, it's okay to ask. If you are interviewing, it is okay to ask. Because when things are turbulent, it's important that you know your job is secure. So if you are going for a role and, you're not sure, well, where does the studio get their funding from? How are they going to monetize this project? What's their go-to-market strategy? Just ask. I guarantee a leader will love that you are asking those questions. So leaders, please share what you know. Roadmaps, budgets, plans, hiring plans, headcount, whatever it is. Please share it with your team as openly, as honestly as you can. If someone asks you a question you don't know, just honestly say. Just honestly say. If someone says, are we going to ship this project on time? Say, I don't know. Say, do you think we're going to get a publisher? Say, I don't know, but we're trying our best. This is our backup plan. This is our contingency if we don't know. Another important thing just to add in here for leaders is times are really tough. Teams are really scared right now. So please celebrate the small wins with your team, whether it's reaching a milestone with your wish list. Maybe it's just some really bloody lovely concept art. Maybe you hit a new build internally. Anything that you feel like is a tiniest victory, please share that with your team and champion people on your team. Give them a little boost because it's really, really hard right now. Another thing I would recommend you do is communicate early and listen more than you talk. Many leaders speak way too much. They feel like they need to fill the room with their own voice. And often it's better to sit back and let other people talk when they do know better. So please listen to your teams. And not only should you build trust in terms of they trust you, I want you to trust them too. Transparency and trust works both ways. And by doing that, you're going to prevent panic in your team. You're going to keep morale strong. And your team's just going to vibe better. You're going to work better. And at the end of the day, we just all want to work in a nice team, right? We just want to ship something really, really good with really lovely people. So tip number 7, leaders, please lead with transparency and trust. All right, tip number 8, stay curious and keep learning. Now, I know it's tricky when we're all working really, really hard. See tip number 5 on burnout, trying to remember which one it was. Working hard, I've said, doesn't make things ship faster or better, but many of us do fall into that trap. What I would rather see you do is conserve a bit of your energy, stay curious, keep learning, and you don't have to spend a huge amount of time doing it. 20 minutes a week will soon add up over the course of a year. Try a new tool. Maybe it's a new game engine. On my list of things I want to try is Godot, because I've still not tried it. I really want to have a go at Game Maker as well. Keep learning, keep trying new things, because you'll keep boosting your skills. If you're not a dev, if you don't want to go on the engine side, maybe just watch a GDC talk, read a dev blog, find out how other people do things, find out how an indie developer ships their game. Maybe participate in a game jam. Again, that could happen for an evening, a weekend, maybe over the course of the week in your evenings. Just do stuff that's low pressure. None of this you have to ship. None of it you have to do anything with particularly. Experiment and be curious. One of the reasons this is really important is many of us on our CVs, we will have focused on a particular thing. So maybe you have only worked on AAA games, okay, for the big consoles. Maybe you've only recently, over the past few years, worked on AR or VR or primarily mobile. When you go to apply for a job, or if you need to, you can't guarantee a job is going to have that particular niche. So by keeping your skills sort of fresh in other areas as well, not only will that maybe help you with some job security in general, but it will help you grow your career. Because if you go into an interview with someone and they want a specific skill set, you can say, well, I don't have that professionally. However, a few months ago, I did a game jam where we shipped this game onto PC. And we were using keyboard and mouse, Xbox controls. Totally different to if you'd been just doing AR games on mobile for the last few years. You're showing that you're interested in different things. And while it might not be professional experience, it is certainly experience that will help boost your application. So tip number 8, stay curious and keep learning. All right, tip number 9, we are on the penultimate one, but this one is a biggie. Try to create some financial and mental stability for your studio, if you are a leader, and for yourself personally, regardless of where you are in your career. Now, even a small buffer will give you a little bit of a peace of mind. It's like a safety net. It's like a parachute. If you are a leader, in terms of your budgeting and your roadmaps and your headcount, please try to prioritize cutting scope before you cut people. Now, there are many, many reasons for this. Number one, we are all guilty of scope creep, especially in the games industry. Cutting scope, usually if you're just simplifying something, it might actually make your game better. But what it will do is it will help you ship on time. It will reduce pressure on the team. And also, if you're trying to keep scope big or you'll keep adding stuff or distracting your team, they're going to get stressed. You're likely going to miss deadlines. And that's where you're going to need to remove headcount. Now, we don't want to be doing that, because as soon as you remove people, it really, really affects team morale, but also you are losing someone who was likely very passionate about your studio, about your projects. So wherever you can, let's de-scope and plan for people's headcount rather than getting rid of people on the team. Try and keep people on your team as long as possible. Cut scope and try and bring that shipping sooner, or get that project in front of a publisher or an investor sooner. That's going to help things feel a lot more stable and give you a lot more idea of how the future is going to look for your overall studio. And then we've talked a little bit about burnout, but mental stability, protecting your mental bandwidth. When we're worried about money, when we're worried about whether or not we're going to get paid or whether or not we can pay our teams, it's heavy. It's heavy. It saps your energy. It can be really, really overwhelming. So just remember, again, we've talked about burnout, but just protect your mental bandwidth. Step away from social media when it's overwhelming. If you're worried about money, please speak to somebody. If you as a member of a team are worried about it, you can always speak to your leader. If you feel comfortable doing that, speak to somebody on your team. And whether or not they can help you is a different matter, but sometimes they can just offer you a little bit of support or a bit of reassurance that, hey, we have got headcount for 6 months. Your job is secure for that long, which might just give you the little bit of reassurance you need. So tip number 9, where possible, try and look after your financial and mental stability as best you can. All right. My final tip is kind of a warm, fuzzy one, but tip number 10 is I would like you to redefine what success means to you. Many of us come into the games industry and think, I really want to ship a game on the Switch or on like a different console, or I want to have like a really good game on Steam with like millions of downloads, right? Whatever it is, we have these ideas of what success means to us. But success doesn't have to mean tens of thousands of wish lists. It doesn't have to mean shipping a game. Many of us have worked on games that don't ship. Many of us don't get those wish lists. We have projects cancelled. So tying your success into those factors can be really, really tough in the games industry, and it can get you down over time. So try and remember, like, all the good things you have done and all those things you have achieved. Because I guarantee to every single one of you who is watching or listening to this episode, you have all had successes. And it's so easy to doubt yourself when times are tough. But I guarantee each and every one of you is a success. It could be just that you've managed to pay your rent. Maybe you finished a side project. Maybe you learned a new skill. Maybe you just did something really nice for a friend. That is a success, right? The game industry moves really fast. Paths aren't linear. You know, things come and go. Jobs do come and go. Unfortunately, studios come and go. Many of us have to make side steps. Maybe we have to pivot our career a bit. Maybe you don't have your dream role right now and you've had to go and do something else just to pay the bills. But just doing that on its own means you are surviving. And that is a success in its own right. So please redefine success in your own terms. Don't worry about what other people think of success. What does it mean to you? Don't just think about those big milestones, those big victories. Think about the little day-to-day things that just make your life a little bit better. You are not a failure no matter what happens. If you're made redundant, if you are a leader, if your studio has to shut down, you are not a failure. You have tried your best. And I guarantee that somewhere within all of that, you will find things that you can be proud of. So number 10, please redefine what success means to you. All right, that was a bit of a whirlwind. There was a lot there. So I'm just going to quickly recap. So 10 tips for you here. Number 1, let's focus on what you can control. Number 2, please be ready. Prepare for the worst, but hope for the best. Number 3, lift people up. Be part of your community. Number 4, stay visible. Show your work. Wherever it is you wish to show it, please share it. We want you to protect your energy. Please do not burn out. Burnout is the absolute worst. Number 6, build your confidence and overcome that imposter syndrome through practicing, through facing your fears and doing things that challenge you. I want leaders to lead with transparency and trust and earn the trust of your teams. And, if you are not a leader, ask your leaders questions and try and build that mutual trust. I want you to try and stay curious, keep learning, keep improving those skills. If you've got gaps on your CVs, try and fill it. It doesn't have to be professionally. It can just be a little side thing or a little project. It doesn't always have to be shit either. Just keep learning, keep those skills fresh. Where possible, try and create that financial and mental stability. And number 10, redefine what success means to you, because I guarantee each and every one of you is a success. All right, now I want to hear from you because there are 10 tips there, and I'm sure there are many, many more that we could share. But which of those, if you were going to pick one, would you focus on first? Were there some that really resonated with you? And if you've got a tip that I haven't mentioned, but you think could help people, please do pop those in the comments, because I would love for this to be a resource to help boost people and help people get through this recovery time in the industry. As I say, it's going to take probably a few years, but I do think it is going to happen. There will be a new normal, though. We don't know what that's going to look like. So I think staying strong for the next few years is going to be what we all have to do. Okay, that is everything from me for today. Thank you so much for listening. If you found this helpful, please do drop me a comment. If you wouldn't mind subscribing, that would be super, super helpful. It helps me keep doing this and helps me know what you want me to talk about. Like, if there are topics that you would like my insight on, if there are guests you would like me to invite on to ask them about their projects, their games, please do let me know, because I'm totally open to suggestions. So drop those in the comments for me, and let's all keep supporting each other. The games industry is in a difficult spot, but this community is what makes it really, really bloody special. So Let's get this community vibe going. Let's share tips with each other. And yeah, hopefully I will see you on the next episode. Bye.